One of the first questions people often ask me is, how does treatment work? Well, each person is treated as an individual because the circumstances that have brought you and your child to my office are very different from the person next to you, even if your child has the same health concerns. So before the visit, I have you complete an online intake form that asks extensive information about their health history. At the first visit, we review that intake form together and I collect context in between the details because my goal is to really understand what you've been through and what's bringing you into my office and what you would consider as success, because my success is your success. So I need to make sure that we are in alignment, and that's why this first visit is called the alignment visit. Make sure that you and I have the same goals for your child. At the first visit, we also determine what is the main obstacle that is preventing your child from getting better, and how can we assess this? At that point, we choose a lab test to perform that is going to actually change the course of treatment. I don't subscribe to the idea that the more testing, the better, the more data, the better. While it's nice to have a lot of information, it's also expensive to collect that information. It can also be really rigorous on your child to put them through all of that lab testing. So I try to avoid that as much as possible, and we only perform lab tests that are actually going to change the treatment plan. Typically, those labs are labs that you have drawn at home. They're urine, saliva, or stool samples that you can collect at home. If there is a blood sample to be done, I typically send those out because I don't want to be the one taking your child's blood and have them dislike me. Those results tend to take about 3 to 4 weeks to get back by the time you submit them and by the time the lab receives them and gets the results back. So I like to see you in between that time just to make sure that you're not losing momentum. Typically, that takes place in a simple phone call. When I receive the lab results, we have an extensive appointment again, about an hour long, where we review those lab results and then we talk about what pillars of health we need to focus on. Is it diet? Is it mental health? Is it exercise? What is it? We go over that together, and then I put in place specific milestones that I want to see your child achieve. And we work on those milestones sequentially, one by one, so that you know exactly what you're working towards and you know when you've achieved it. And then when you achieve it, we progress on to something else. As we do that, you start to feel more empowered, you start to feel more confident, and you gain a lot of knowledge because I do a lot of teaching along the way. Once you have gotten to the point where you feel in control of your child's health and you feel confident about how to manage the day-to-day life, then you don't need me on a regular basis anymore, and that's the goal. So then you can move into the maintenance phase of treatment, where we see each other a few times a year, maybe even just once a year. And that's the ultimate goal of treatment.